Hey, a very quick update for those of you who would possibly like to get your hands on the 3-day online on-demand video webinar workshop for free. This is your chance and opportunity. So I'm looking to run a photo reading workshop this month or next month, so February or March. Even this coming weekend, starting the 7th, well, I think Friday will be the 7th, if we can get it together in time. So I've got 2 people who are like definitely saying, yeah, I want to do it this weekend. I've got 1 more on the fence and I've got 2 more places. But if I get another 2 people that go, yes, then it's going to be worthwhile to do it. If not, it will be in the next couple of weeks. So here's the way that it works. You get access to the free, and let me just give you a little bit of a heads up in terms of feedback. This was from the, ignore that URL, it no longer exists, but this was feedback from the very first time I ran this particular workshop. So you'll get the replay of this full 3-day workshop. It runs to about 21 hours. Of course, it's broken down into segments and you can press play and stop and fast forward and all the rest of it and rewind whenever you choose to. It means you can take the full photo reading workshop from the comfort of your own home, comfort of your own office, whenever you like, as many times as you like. So that might be to deepen your photo reading practice or to go back and refresh your skills. So this is someone who did the online version the first time I ran it. They said it's inspiring, creative, intensive, engaging, and brilliant. And when I say to people it's a 3-day workshop, 21 hours, they're like, whoa, that sounds like a lot. But people were completely engaged, absolutely loved it. Majority said they felt like they were in the room together, even though they were all around the world and we were doing it online. So my online workshops are a bit different from the norm. So that's the online version. Now, the way that it works, when you book your place on the photo reading workshop, the in-person workshop, you get the online on-demand video webinar 3-day workshop for free as a bonus. Little incentive to get people moving. Let's start the new year the way that we would like to carry on. We're going to be in a different room actually, because I'm using a private venue. It's a little cottage that we use, so we have the whole cottage to ourselves. So we have kitchen, bathroom, the room that we use to do the photo reading. There is a bedroom which you can store your coats and your bags, etc. So it's going to be a different venue, but it's going to be in person. So that's basically the way that it works. Now, in terms of some of the things you might expect from photo reading, have I added anything in here? Yes, I have. So here we go. So this is something I got a message via Facebook Messenger a couple of years ago, out of the blue. And they said, hey, Marilyn, sorry to just drop into your email inbox. I know it's been a long time. They just said, oh, thank you so much for the photo reading. And then they said this. They said, I changed paths, practicing law, thanks to photo reading. It gave me the confidence to read a lot of material in a short time and retain it. Those law exams are no joke, because people often ask about detail, memory, recall. Law is a serious profession. Even if you're not a lawyer, I'm sure you just know that as a matter of course. And they said photo reading was the thing that gave them the confidence to have a complete career change and become a lawyer. I would say that is an amazing ROI, return on investment, in just 2.5 days of your time. So that was one. There was another fantastic one that I actually saw on Facebook. So let me pull that one up there. I'm gonna give me a second. I'll take that one down and put that one back there. So this was from the wonderful Naomi Tamayama. Some of you may know her. She's the founder of Mad Dog Designs, does those wonderful crystals. She's also an entrepreneur and a single mum. And I saw this on Facebook, just happened to see a Facebook post talking about photo reading. This was after she'd attended my photo reading workshops. She said, I've spent less than an hour reading 8 books on a topic and have just compiled a piece of work from this. Game changer, real life skills. If you're a single mum, that aside, never mind running your own businesses, you know how busy that is. So Naomi isn't studying for exams. However, she's still got things she wants to read, research, bring into the business, share knowledge with her clients. So it's really, really useful for that. Now, I've had somebody else who got in touch recently. They're looking to retire. And they said they've got plans for their retirement. So one of the things is they want to be able to get through that without it feeling like a real drudge. And And this was really interesting because that's where my photo reading journey started. They said they also wanted to keep their brain active, keep their brain healthy, and stave off Alzheimer's, dementia, etc., that potentially runs in or occurs in their family. And so I'd said to them that was where my journey started, because I was diagnosed with what was thought to be early onset Alzheimer's in my 20s. My doctor said there was absolutely nothing more he could do for me, which was devastating at that young age. And you could say something to me, if I didn't write it down straight away, boom, it, by the time you'd walked away, it was completely gone. Brain fog is like an understatement. It was absolutely devastating. I was like that for several years. And it just so happened that I got an envelope through the door saying, would you like to drink in information like you're drinking it in through a fire hose? Would you like to remember and recall what you've read? Do you want to increase your creativity, your decision making, your focus, your critical thinking? It was just like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And then it said the thing that made me go, really? You know, what are you talking about, Willis, if you ever watch Different Strokes? And they talked about photo reading at 25,000 words per minute, and photo reading entire books from start to finish in just 5 minutes. And I was like, okay, this has got to be marketing hype. But I was desperate, so I sent off for the cassette tapes, as they were back then. They weren't instructors, etc., and promptly did nothing with it for 2 years. But then I ended up on my NLP training, practitioner training, and the person running the training was quoting names, dates, places, facts, figures, case studies, etc. And somebody said, how do you remember all of this stuff? And he pointed to the back of the room and he said, I photo read. So everybody looked around, and there was the cassette tapes, the very same cassette tapes I still have on my shelf to this day. This is them. This is the infamous cassette tapes. Hold on, there we go. So that's them there. And I looked back and I was like, oh my God, I have got those cassette tapes at home sitting on my shelf gathering dust. And that's where I coined the term for myself. This was back in October 2000, where I laughed and I says it's shelf development, because my bookshelf is getting more personal development than me, because I'm not looking at it. And at that point, I'd really struggled just to do the practitioner test, even though I had several months to do it at home. It was open book. I had all of the cassette tapes to listen to. I really struggled. And apparently behind the scenes, they're like, who is this Marilyn Devonish? She must be lazy or stupid, because my test was that bad. So I had 3 weeks between practitioner and master practitioner. And it wasn't my plan to go ahead. I'd only gone to the NLP training to get a refund. It's a story for another day. But by the end of the training, I was like, whoa, I love this. So I decided I was going to continue on, but I was like, how am I going to do this? I'm studying to be a chartered accountant. My exam's in like 3 weeks. Well, a month. I think it was 5 weeks before the exams and 2.5 weeks before I had to come back for Master Prac. I'm like, there's no way I can get all this done, considering how I struggled so badly and having several months to do it. And then I thought, I wonder what would happen if I use this photo reading malarkey that David Shepherd was talking about, and that I'd already purchased, spent all the money on it already. So I was like, you know what I'm going to do for the first few days? I'm just going to go through the photo reading cassette tapes, and then I'm going to apply myself to the material. I went back 2.5 weeks later. You hand in your test. It is humongous compared to the practitioner test. And then you wait for the best part of a week, because it takes that long for them to go through and mark all the tests and get them ratified. I put a goal in my timeline, because by now I'm warming up to personal development, that I would pass the master practitioner test with flying colours and have no corrections, given that I was going home every night with that practitioner test. It was a complete disaster, as Craig Gregor Hall would say if you watch Strictly. And so that was the goal I put in my timeline. Everybody got their tests back, loads of people, everybody had corrections, with the exception of one person. The one person who had no corrections was me. And in my timeline, I put a goal that it said, like, good job, well done, and a tick. I got the test back, and it's pretty much said that it's upstairs somewhere. I'll have to find it and do a screenshot. It's the big tick, and it says something like, good job, well done. And I looked through it, there were no corrections. I was like, what in the name of book reading sorcery is this? I was like, oh, I couldn't believe it. So I then, of course, end up working for the NLP training company that I trained with. The following year, May 2001, I make the decision to do NLP trainers training, which if you've done trainers training is intense. And that culminates in a 1-day closed book exam condition exam where you go through several different papers, getting them one after the other. I think it started at 9 or 10 o'clock and went through to 5, 6 p.m. So it's a full working day. And I put a goal in my timeline again that I was going to pass the NLP trainers training exam in flying colors, and never mind all this 7-8 hours lock, I was going to be finished in 3 hours. That was the goal I put in my timeline. Very optimistic at this point. And the rest, as they say, is history. So that was in May 2001. So blown away with what started to happen in the room when I was working with photo reading students, NLP students, but using the photo reading skills. Eventually, I was like, I've got to learn more about this. I want to teach this. So I pick up the phone to Learning Strategies Corporation. Never, apart from seeing their name on the leaflet, didn't know who they were, never spoken to them before, but I just said I wanted to inquire about photo. Are there classes? Who teaches this? How do I learn to teach this? And they said, well, actually, we run an instructor training twice a year. The course is next week, so it's closed, it's fully booked. However, just before you phoned, someone dropped out. The course materials go to print tomorrow. Do you want the place? I was like, whoa, that's not what I was expecting from that conversation. So I go back to my boss and I say, look, I've got this opportunity. Just so happened it was one of those rare times in the calendar, because we would train 220 days a year, something like that. And these were long days, 12, 15-hour days, back to back, sometimes 29-day weeks. And it just so happened there was a little bit of a gap. So I would have just missed, I think it was 2 or 3 days of master prac, I think it was, or present, whatever it was. And Paul Vernon, he said, don't worry about it. I'll stand in for you. So David said, yeah, go do it. So the following week, I was on a plane to Minneapolis to train with Dr. Paul Sheely, the creator of photo reading. And that was in March 2002. The rest, as they say, is history. So within days of photo reading, all of the stuff where I started this story, all of the stuff of the early onset Alzheimer's just disappeared. And that was coming up to 25 years ago this October. I haven't looked back. And even when I say the words early onset Alzheimer's, people cannot compute that is something that ever happened to me. When they see me talk, when they see me speak, when they attend my workshops, when they listen to my teleseminars, webinars, they watch my live TV appearances, my live radio appearances. Normally those are done with absolutely no notice, and I've got no idea what somebody is going to be asking me either. And for those of you who speak, who write, who do podcasts, who run webinars, training courses, photo reading is incredible for that, because it's all about that left and right brain activation as well. So my little friend here, and it's also about how to get into the flow state. And I teach you how to do that in about 30 seconds flat. And it's also about being in that state of what we call relaxed alertness. So in terms of stress management, all that sort of stuff, never mind doing a 1-day, 2-day, 3-day workshop, come to photo reading, that stress gets sorted out in a couple of minutes as well. And as a bonus, we will also, of course, it's been a feature of the photo reading workshop for such a long time now, we will be doing the HUNA. There's a bonus HUNA session, HUNA, on the Friday, because one of the things I realized is photo reading is very straightforward. There's 5 steps. Step 1, where you get yourself physically and mentally prepared, takes about 10-20 seconds once you really get into it. Preview is a set 90 seconds, so a minute and a half. Photo reading step 3 is 5 minutes. Step 4, post view. Officially says 5 or 6 minutes. I actually give my delegates 2 to 3 minutes. And then activation is the one where you might put a bit more time into it, but you can activate a book and get information you're looking for in about 5 minutes. But yeah, if you're a student, or using it for professional exams, or a lawyer, whatever, doctor, surgeon, accountant, marketer, and these, those are all of the professions I've had attend the photo reading workshop over the last few decades. And then everything in between: crystal healers, coaches, therapists, consultants, school teachers, neurosurgeons, you name it, they've been on the course. Even a team of rocket scientists from Cranfield University. I realized it wasn't about the steps, they're very straightforward. It was about people's mindset and their belief that they could actually do this, and had the skill, the ability, as the Dr. Cost, the neurosurgeon, trainee neurosurgeon who came on the workshop, when he attended, he came up to me on the first night, the Friday, and said, have you watched the movie Limitless? Bradley Cooper, Robert De Niro. I hadn't actually seen it at that point. So I said, no, why? He said, everything you're teaching us to do is in that movie. The only difference is we don't need a dangerous silver pill, because if you've seen the movie, you know that silver pill is potentially deadly and pretty much everyone who took it died. Oh, sorry, I hope I didn't spoil the plot. And then he came up on this and he said, no, he said to me on the Friday, he said, everything in the movie, everything that's in the movies, you're teaching us here. The only thing you're not doing is time shifting. He then came back up to me on the Sunday and said, I take that back. I said, why? What do you mean? He said, you are time shifting, because I cannot believe how much we've covered, how much people have learned and changed and been able to apply in such a short space of time. And as some of you will know, Dr. Cost then went on and I went on to, we met every single Sunday for a full year, 12 months, every single Sunday, online, by telephone. Sometimes we'd meet up in London, go for a meal as well. The only times we wouldn't meet is if I was running a workshop, because PhotoReading is like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or he was studying for neurosurgery exams. He was at Limewells in Scotland. But aside from that, we met every single Sunday for at least an hour, normally 2 or 3 or even 4, sometimes longer. And we just talk about neuroscience, and we talk about PhotoReading, and we talk about all the stuff I'm doing with personal development and how it works and the neuroscience behind it. Or oftentimes Dr. Cost would say, Marilyn, I have no idea how you did that, but I've seen it happen, or I've experienced it myself. All I can say at this point is science hasn't caught up with you yet. So it was really fascinating. And then I hired the One Aldwych in London, which are the private cinema, and Dr. Cost and I ran a workshop where I got permission to show the movie Limitless. You don't just take a commercial movie and show it. Let me be very clear. I wrote to the film company, the distribution company. I explained what I wanted to do and how I was going to do it and da 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 da. So I got a license to show the movie Limitless commercially. And then after we'd seen the film, Dr. Cost talked about it from a neuroscience point of view, and I talked about it from a PhotoReading, spiritual and personal development point of view. It was a fantastic event. Really loved it. Anyway, so the HUNA, I was like, it's very straightforward. It's the mindset piece, that brain piece that's getting in the way. So about 10 or so years ago, I added HUNA as a bonus session on that Friday, and the results were just incredible. That's a story for another day, because I'm not going to keep you too much longer, but this was from someone, and ignore that URL as well, it doesn't exist. But this was at the TCCHE, the Conference for Consciousness and Human Evolution. I've just come back from that. Hello, San Diego, if any of you are watching. It was fantastic. I was emceeing the San Diego event. So you got Greg Braden, Bruce Lipton, Michael Beckwith, Marianne Williams. It was just a smorgasbord of amazing speakers as usual. So that was amazing. And this was at I think the first time I'd ever emceed the TCCHE in London, the Conference for Consciousness and Human Evolution. And somebody had just flown in from Japan and got off the plane and came straight to the training room. So by 10 o'clock that night, they were just knackered. And so I just did like a couple of minutes of HUNA while they're standing in the room. We got 550 people walking around us. And I saw him the next day and he said, Marilyn, HUNA is better than Starbucks. HUNA is better than Red Bull. I saw him on the next day, or Sunday. I said, how are you doing? He's like, HUNA is better than Starbucks. HUNA is better than Red Bull. And so that one always made me smile whenever I kind of think of that. And some of you will also know in terms of, and actually I have got the image there from the TCCHE. This is that particular event where I did HUNA with 550 people. They had no idea what I was doing. It was about, I don't know, anyway, about 3 minutes thereabouts. The feedback for the next 3 days, mind blowing. I couldn't walk 2 steps without somebody saying, oh my God, I've got no idea what you were doing or what that was. And then they would go on to tell me what happened, whether it was pain disappearing, clarity of mind, energy, focus, feeling almost like their brain waking up. You seriously, you name it, I heard it all. And so a couple of those quotes are there on the screen. Someone said, "Thank you so much for the huna, for everything, the huna, how beautifully you held the energy of the room and managed everything." Because once we've done that, it's like, well, I might as well put the huna around the room, which is what I do on the photo reading workshop as well. Somebody else said, "I attended the TCCHE 4-day workshop event a couple of weeks ago, and although I found the speakers fascinating, your huna work had the most profound effect on me." There are even people speaking to me over the cubicle in the ladies' toilet. So that's the other one. And just saying, wow, actually, you can't see it because there we go. And just saying, I did speak to you at the event in the ladies and explained how I felt the energy around me in the sense of calm. But since that time, I'm quite amazed at what had happened, because I had people emailing me weeks afterwards telling me about the impact that it was still having, that wonderful ripple effect. So if you would like to join us for the photo reading workshop, here's how to do it. This is how we do it. Montel Jordan, love that song. So book yourself on the in-person photo reading workshop. And as soon as you've done that, depending if I'm in bed, of course, I'll do it the next day. But as soon as you've done that, I will then send you your personal login link for the online on-demand video webinar workshop. So for that one, you can go to www.bit.ly/photo reading workshop Z, or Z if you are in the United States. Main workshop, if you just want to have a bit of a look at the backstory of photo reading, is transformationstm.com/photo reading. That's TRANCE, as in hypnotic trance, F for Freddy, FORMATIONS tm.com. So transformationstm.com/photo reading. You can, of course, book the online on-demand video webinar workshop separately. It is £850. But if you want to save yourself £850, what's that going to be? I don't know, $1,100, $1,200, something like that. If you want to save yourself over $1,000, then just book on the in-person workshop and I'll send it to you for free. That offer ends in a couple of days from now. So get yourself signed up. Come and check out the photo reading workshop. It is incredible. It is amazing. One of the things that people say to me most often is, "I wish I had attended this workshop when you told me about it years ago." Another of the complaints is, "I had no idea photo reading was going to be all of this," because it's like a mini personal development course, spiritual development course, personal transformation as well. The reading is like, yeah, that's fun. But hey, there's all this other cool stuff as well. So I've had actually people get angry with me that I didn't tell them that this is what photo reading was. And I'm like, you're on my emailing list. I've spoken to you personally about this. You've seen my emails, you've seen my Facebook posts, but for some reason it just doesn't land and translate. And I don't know if that's just because people wonder if that can really be true. I don't think I've got it in this stack. Let me just have a very quick look. Actually, a quicker thing to do, just rather than faffing about, I'm just going to show you one other thing. And pull it up nice and quick. Cranfield University, the rocket scientists. Let me show you what the team of rocket scientists said about photo reading. Rocket scientists working on a military base. They were at Cranfield University on the MOD site. They know how to learn. They know all about learning. They know all about the mind and the brain. And they were bona fide rocket scientists. This is what they said about the photo reading: stimulating, valuable, highly recommended, professional, excellent, enlightening, fun, relaxing, motivating, time well spent, should be given to all first-year PhD students. That is not the feedback I expected from a team of rocket scientists, to be talking about fun, relaxation, motivation, because I went over and I ran a bespoke photo reading workshop for them. And I've had children as young as 7 come along to the workshop. It's completely changed and transformed everything for them. I've had students who have been failing their exams. One of them got an unclassified. I was teaching at Queen's Park School in London. And 3 weeks later, he resat the mock exam, got a B. And Barry Birch, the deputy head, said, "What went on? What happened? Why did you get what? There was something's gone on in those 3 weeks." He said, "Oh, I just did what Miss Marilyn taught us." That's amazing. Have I? Let me just see if I can show you the letter from the school. What would I have called it? Oh, there we go. There we go. So that was the rocket scientist. Let me show you the letter from the school, just for those of you who might be wanting to use it academically rather than just reading for pleasure, and next leveling your creativity, critical thinking, decision making, etc., etc. The king and I. Right, there we go. So this was the letter from Queen's Park School. It says Queen's Park Community School, part of Brent's full service extended school, worked closely with Marilyn Devonish of Transformations for over 3 years. We've partnered with Marilyn in offering creative and innovative teaching in order to raise the quality of teaching and learning. The 3 courses Marilyn delivered have been to 2 cohorts of 25 year 7 and the year 8 gifted and talented students, and to a smaller group of 6 formers as an enhancement to their course. PhotoReading uses NLP techniques which are stimulating, motivating to the students. She combines relaxation methods and study skills approach to accelerate learning in an enjoyable manner. Marilyn is an excellent teacher who is able to motivate and stimulate her students. Her classes were very popular, and the fact that they were continually well attended speaks volumes for their efficacy. As someone who has spent a lot of time in the lessons, it was impressive to see a real joy. Oh, I got goosebumps. A real joy for learning and discovery, so beautifully combined with a sense of purpose and lots of fun. We continue to work with Marilyn and also tell others of the pioneering work she is doing. I'm grateful for our extended services funding stream to allow us to fly a kite with this course, and I would recommend it to others. Indeed, I recently hosted a learning visit by 16 other schools to Queen's Park Community School as part of our specialist schools work, and had no hesitation in asking Marilyn to do a workshop for them. The evaluation gave her an 80% rating of excellent. So whether it's for academic, whether it's for work, leading your team, just keeping up to date with all of the stuff that's coming at you, because we live in the information age. The information is getting more and more prolific. Now you've got the AI, which can produce massive documents in a split second, but somebody's got to read those documents. Somebody's got to disseminate those documents. Somebody's got to go through them and pull out the facts. That's you. So whether it's academic, work, or as the conversations I've been having, people really just want to just give themselves this time and the space and the grace and the energy to read and to enjoy learning, to reconnect with books, to fall in love with reading again. Whatever it is for you, PhotoReading is absolutely incredible. I'm going to leave it there. If you know it, this might not be for you, but if you know someone who could benefit from attending the PhotoReading workshop, either in person, I'm running it in just outside of London, about 20 minutes from London Euston on the train, and then a 10-minute walk from the station. We're right slap bang in the centre of town. If you know where Marks and Spencer's is in town, we're just pretty much a couple of minutes walk from there, 2-3 minutes walk from there. But if you know someone who could benefit from either learning this in person or they want the online class, then please, please, please share my details with them, share this video with them, send them the link, send them the PhotoReading links. If you're watching this on YouTube, the links will be in the description, and I'll add the links in the comments, etc., on Facebook, Twitter, etc. But yeah, please feel free to share the details. And if you've attended the PhotoReading workshop, I want to say a few words about it, because social proof and hearing other people's feedback is always really, really valuable. Then you have my permission to go forth and share, and I would really, really appreciate it, because battling the algorithms, I'm sure some of you are aware, is no fun. It's almost an impossible Mount Everest style task. And I know people get to the top of Mount Everest, but there's work involved. So if we can circumvent that by sharing and just saying a few words, that would be absolutely incredible and really very much appreciated. So if you and your brain are ready for a bit of stimulation, a workout, some fun, some relaxation, motivation, tapping into your intuition, your creativity, and next leveling things like synchronicity and all of that cool stuff, then get yourself booked on the PhotoReading workshop. You can go to my main website, transformationstm.com. There's a red What's New button at the top of the site. So when you land, click that, a panel will slide out, have a little bit of a scroll. I haven't added it yet. I'll put it on tomorrow, but I'll add a direct link where you can book the in-person PhotoReading workshop. And underneath that, I'll also add a link if you don't want to do the in person, but you just want to purchase the online on demand. As I said, it's £850 or $1,100, whatever the exchange rate is at the moment, to do it separately, but you get that for free if you're booking on the in-person in the next couple of days. Well, thank you for watching. Thank you, thank you, thank you for listening. Thank you massively for sharing this video as well. Marilyn Devonish, the NeuroSuccess Coach, Rapid Transformation Specialist, Certified Photo Reading Instructor since March 2002, and Futurist, over and out.